Hello there. Welcome to High Class. My name is Leshan, and as indicated in my whiteboard here, in this video I'm going to show you how to handle questions on an excerpt. That is in KCSE English Paper 2, Question 2. And for the Form 4, of course, the excerpt will be from Fathers of Nation. For the Form 3 is the Samaritan. But whether Form 3 or Form 4, there's some key elements as indicated here, 1 to 7, that once you understand them, once you understand these elements, it will be easier for you to handle any exam that may come in your exam. They're going to look at each and one of them and see what you're supposed to do whenever you are asked about these things. An exam is usually 25 marks, a total of 25 marks in the exam. So starting with the first one about the context, you most of the time the first question in that excerpt section usually place this excerpt in its immediate context. Now, what are they testing? That question tests you on plot. They want to see, have you read that book as many times as possible until you have a grasp of the sequence of events, that after this event, this happened, this happened, this happened, up to the end. That is what this question tests. That's a challenge to you, that you need to read that book as many times as possible so that you master the plot. So when one asks this question, you have to give your answer in two ways. So that you tell us what happened before the excerpt, and you tell us what happened after the excerpt. Okay. So whenever you're answering this question, because it is for marks, 2 marks will go for before, 2 marks for after. You tell us the events that led to that excerpt. That is now before. So you say immediately before this excerpt, then state what happened. Then immediately after this excerpt, state what happened there. Then you'll score the four marks. So this is about context. They usually test about the plot. How to hack this one? You just have to read the text many times so that you understand what events lead to what. And once you understand that, understand that when you're presenting your answer about the context, you must tell us what happens before and what happens after. Okay. Number 2, we have the themes. This is another section that they usually test most of the time. And the themes, you can define them as messages or the universal truths that are explored in a story. These are what the story implies about human experiences and human life. Okay, and they can be several. They can have theme of corruption, education. Can have technology, materialism, betrayal. There can be so many themes. Just whatever is being talked about in that excerpt, in that piece of story that they have taken from a text, and also know that they can vary. It's good that you know at least a wide range of themes so that you can identify one when you read a text. So I'm sure this you have been taught by your teachers. And then we have also the styles. The styles. These are the way the author uses language creatively to deliver the ideas, the way the author now uses language creatively to deliver these ideas, and also to express meaning or to convey meaning to us, the readers. And styles can vary. You can have imagery, you can have irony, you can have symbolism, you can have similes, metaphor. There are so many styles, and that I'm sure you familiarize yourself with them. Then we have these 3 aspects: the mood, the attitude, and the tone. Most of the time they come 3 marks. Then each, they're different, they're not the same thing, and you need to understand the definition of each. When you know the definition and at least how to identify the example, each an example for each, I think you'll be at a better place to handle with that question. So what is the mood? The mood is the emotional atmosphere or the feeling that is created in the reader by the text. Okay, when you read that text as a reader, how do you feel? So mood is the feeling that is created in the reader by the text. Okay, so for example, if you read an excerpt and it's talking about death, someone has lost a parent or a relative or something like that, it will make you feel sad. So the mood of the excerpt will be sad. For instance, you are reading that excerpt and you find that people are exchanging words. There's a conflict there. People are exchanging words and people are angry in there. The mood will be, you can say, tense. So the mood is how the excerpt or that part of the book makes you as the reader feel. Okay, that is the mood. It can range from, you can say, a somber mood, melancholic mood. You can also say a celebratory mood, tense mood, gloomy mood, nostalgic mood, a suspenseful mood, amongst others. Here we have another one. Attitude. What now is an attitude? Let's go to tone first. What is the tone? Tone is usually the nature of the voice. Whenever a character is speaking, there's a way the nature of the voice, okay, how the characteristic of the way that voice comes out as that person presents his ideas, or yeah, his ideas to maybe the next character. That is now the tone, the nature of the voice, okay, to the nature of the voice of that character towards whatever is being talked about, whether it's another character, whether it's a theme or something else, or the subject matter. And the theme, a tone, you can say, you can define tone, but you can give examples of tone, like a hateful tone, you can say regretful tone, sarcastic tone, bitter tone, angry tone, formal tone. All those are words that I use to describe tone, the nature of the voice. Whenever I speak, for example, if I'm feeling angry, definitely the tone I'll that will come, the nature of the voice that I'll use, it will be an angry tone, okay, because it's because the way I feel, I'll speak using language in a manner of which that reflects how I feel towards the subject or whatever that person that I'm talking to. Okay, that is tone. Then lastly, we have now the attitude, which is the specific feeling of a character now towards the subject, the specific feeling of the character, how the character feels towards about the character. The tone is the nature of the voice. Okay, these three elements, they look close, they sound similar, but they are quite different. Just a small difference iko pale katikati. And now, so attitude is the exact feeling that that person is feeling towards that subject. Once you have that attitude, you're going to use a certain tone. You're going to use a certain tone when you're addressing that person or that thing, okay? And lastly, when you do that, as a reader, when I read that, the way that situation will make me feel is now what we call the mood, okay? And now we also have the next part 5, that is about a question that usually comes there about grammar. Just one. Most of the time, ask you maybe rewrite the following sentence into passive or active voice. Add a question tag. It's usually a very simple question that gives you 1 mark. So it means you must arm yourself that a question about grammar will appear in this section. And lastly, we have meaning of words. So usually this question, most of the time, it comes at the last position, and they ask you, give the meaning of the following words as used in the excerpt. Give the meaning of the following words as used in the excerpt. This question is quite tricky, but it's very easy also. You see, they'll give you a very simple word there. One mistake that you should not do is give the meaning that you know, the normal meaning out of context. That one will make you score 0. You go find the word in the excerpt, read around that word, around that we're trying to establish the context, then try and see what's the exact meaning, what's the meaning that this word is giving in that context where it has been used. That's how you answer this question. Even if the word is very simple, do not give the meaning that you know, the normal meaning of the word. Go back to the text, the excerpt, read that area around the word, and see which word best describes that meaning. And also, while answering this question, you need to remember that you have to maintain the tense. You maintain the tense, the number that is plural or singular of that word or the aspect. So that if the word here is let's say living, the word is living. Give the meaning of the word, the following word, then the word there is living. Your word must also have the ing aspect. When you're giving the meaning, your answer must have the aspect of ing, because the word itself has that aspect of progressive. Okay, so living, you cannot say, for example, depart. Okay, you cannot say depart. That one is score 0. You have to say departing, so that you maintain the aspect. If the word is left, for example, left, the answer will be departed. So we maintain the tense, the past tense. Those are the three things that you need to consider when answering the question. The number 1, you go back to where the word is in the excerpt, read around that area, and establish the best meaning that that word produces. Okay, then number 2, ensure that when you're answering that question, you maintain the tense of the word that you've been given. Ensure that you maintain the aspect, that is whether it is in progressive aspect or perfective aspect, and also maintain the number, that is whether it's in plural or singular. And lastly, you should have one question that asks you about your knowledge of the play, the entire book. Now it asks you, for example, from elsewhere in the text, what happened here. So you're supposed to have this general knowledge of the entire play, so that you, or not play necessarily play, of the entire text, so that you are able to answer this question. They're asking you information from anywhere in the text now, to test your general understanding of the play. So these are what I'm calling the elements of an excerpt. And these are the things, these are some of the questions that they test in an excerpt. So once you understand these 7 elements, I think you'll be in a better position to answer these questions. And very key points to note here is that in these sections, you must give an answer and an evidence. That is very, very important. You cannot state a point and leave it like that. You have to give an answer and an evidence. For example, if you say there's a theme of corruption, don't stop there. Give us an instance in the excerpt, from the excerpt there, that shows that corruption. You cannot leave an answer without an evidence. That will make you score half a mark or even a 0. So if I told you you have identified a style, for example, you say a simile, go in the excerpt, identify that simile, then come and write it here, so that we have an answer with its evidence. That thing that will be verified. Same as this mood. You cannot say identify. They have asked you identify the mood of the excerpt, and you just say angry mood, an angry mood, and you leave it there. That one, we won't score full mark. To score that full mark, you need to give a comprehensive answer. Explain how comes that there's that angry mood. You give us an explanation why, and you use, of course, the information from the excerpt. So it's the answer and evidence, answer and evidence. Okay. Now, let's read one. I want to read one excerpt from the Fathers of Nation, and we try to answer these questions there, so that you see how you can do it whenever it has come